Hi, everyone. This is Allie Powell, and I'm starting a podcast for women who work in sales. So, how did this come about? I am a sales rep. I've worked at HubSpot, we're a marketing software company based out of Boston, Massachusetts. I've been there for, let's see, a little over 7 years now. Um, and so obviously I am a woman and I do work in sales. So I find it, um, really important to speak about what I do and about what I've learned being a woman working in sales. So I started this blog actually as part of my HubSpot project back 7 years ago when I started at HubSpot. Um, when you actually start working at HubSpot, you have to create a blog and create a kind of faux fake business to understand how to use our software. And so I created one around what I called Boston Womenpreneurs. So that's when I started to figure out that there was something to this whole thing around women in tech, women in work, women in the workplace. And over time, as I just worked my way up in sales, I started to really think about, why aren't there more women in sales? Why are there more men in sales? And how can I expose more women to each other that work in sales? So the blog slowly but surely became more of a thing focused on women who work in tech and women who work in sales. So now it's called womenintechsales.com. Over the years, I just kept writing about things I was learning as a woman who works in sales and who works in technology. And I would just keep track of some of the things that I was learning on the job. And 7 years later, so 6 years later, I started a Slack channel when Slack came out for women in sales, and so you can join that too. And then just recently I was thinking, well, I've been listening to tons of podcasts and I write a bunch, and I think that it would be amazing to share more stories about women who work in sales so that we as women in sales can also hear from other women outside of our company and learn from each other as well as connect with other women in similar roles. The second reason that I think that this podcast is important is that we need more women to understand what it really is to work in sales. I think that sales has a stigma that just isn't really true, but we don't talk about it enough to share with people really what it is to be a woman working in sales and what sales really, really, truly is. So, um, I'm taking it upon myself to create this podcast. I'm going to interview women of all different types of roles, all different levels of roles in sales. So they could be VPs of sales, they could be directors of sales, they could be a manager in sales, they could be a BDR, an SDR, um, anything that has to do with sales. So literally any role underneath the sales org, I want to talk to you and I want to interview you. The interviews will be half an hour long and we'll play them on the iTunes podcast as well as on our blog. So I'll probably be doing video interviews as well. And I really want to hear from you. And I think it'll be a great way for us as women who work in sales to connect and learn from each other. And then, like I said, hopefully this can expose more women to the profession of sales. And then over time, we can flip this on its head, and hopefully one day there'll be more women working in sales than men, or at least there'll be better numbers in terms of how many women we have in our sales orgs. So that's why I'm doing it. I hope you find this exciting and fun. And if you know any women who work in any type of sales capacity, please share this with them. I'd love to talk to them. I'll be doing these podcasts or interviews early in the morning before work, and then if I have to around lunchtime, but I would prefer to do them before the day gets going or at night or on the weekends, just because, I'm selling and I have to do my job as well. But I hope to hear from you, and I can't wait to get this going. We're going to have some of these recordings coming out next week, and I hope that you will find this podcast really fun. And once again, you could go to www.womenintechsales.com to learn more about it. And then the podcast is just going to be called Women in Sales. Um, have a great day and happy selling.